Viewers, sometimes the loudest voice comes from silence, and the wisest advice from the most ignored. This is a suspenseful tale of an eagle feared by a village and an old woman who saw beyond fear. A story of instinct, misunderstanding, and the value of wisdom. Please subscribe my channel and like this video.
Sarmanad was a small village. It was high up in the mountains. Tall pine trees whispered to the wind like they were sharing secrets. A clean river flowed gently over smooth stones, making a soft sound. The houses were made of wood and stone. Smoke curled up from the chimneys in the cool air. Life here was simple. The people knew the rhythm of the seasons. The people of Sarmanad were very kind. They worked hard in their small fields. They grew potatoes and corn. Children played freely in the open fields. Their laughter echoed through the valley. Sunlight warmed their smiling faces. Evenings were for stories and soft songs. A soft blanket of happiness covered Sarmanad. Nature was their good friend. Wildflowers painted the hills with colors. Butterflies danced in the warm sunshine. Small animals moved about in the bushes. The villagers respected the forest and its creatures. They only took what they needed. There was a balance, a harmony. Then Azar came. Azar was a big eagle, strong and proud. His wings were very wide, like dark storm clouds. His eyes were very sharp, like yellow pieces of glass. He circled high above Sarmanad. A wonderful sight, but scary too. His shadow fell over the village, a shadow that brought a new feeling. Gap 2s. Azar was a hunter, fast and quiet. He started coming to the village more often. A plump chicken would disappear from a yard. Then a small bleating lamb from the flock. Children, who were once fearless, saw his shadow. They would stop their games and run inside their homes. The eagle's cry was like a scream. It cut through the quiet mountain air. Fear slowly started to creep into Sarmanad. It was like a cold shiver in the warm sunshine. Mothers called their children close. Farmers looked at the sky with worried eyes. Their animals were precious to them, their way of living. The village's joy began to fade. Laughter did not come as easily. In a corner of Sarmanad lived old Amala. Her hut was small, under an old oak tree. She had lived in the village for many, many years. Her face was wrinkled like a dried apricot. Her eyes were kind, but they held a deep knowing. She knew the mountain paths, the secrets of the forest. She understood the language of the wind and the rain. Amala was like a part of the mountain itself. Amala was quiet. She watched and listened. She did not talk much, but her words had weight. Villagers sometimes came to her for advice, for small troubles or big worries. She knew about the herbs that could heal. She knew stories from old times. Her wisdom was different, not from books. It came from the earth, from long experience. From her quiet hut, Amala watched Azar. She saw his big circles in the sky. She heard his sharp, piercing cry. But there was no fear in her eyes. Perhaps a deep sadness, and a thoughtful, searching look. The men of the village were getting impatient. Amala's words were soft. They wanted quick action. We must trap the eagle. They believed that strength could only be beaten by strength. He easily avoided their clumsy traps. They came back to Amala, their heads bowed. Anger cannot talk to anger, she said softly. Amala began her patient work. Every morning, she went to a flat rock. She would place a piece of meat there. At first, Azar was suspicious. He would swoop down and snatch the offering. He began to see Amala not as a threat. The great, fearsome Azar would land near Amala. The shadow of fear lifted from Sarmanad.